Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I am Reverend Tucker. I am the senior minister here at the Oasis, and we're so blessed to have all of you here with us. I know there's 1,000 places or things that you could be doing on a Sunday morning. We're really blessed to have you here with us. Let me introduce the God's team that God lets me manage. By the way, God is my word. You can use whatever your word you want. Universe, Allah, I don't care. Whatever speaks to you. But God is my word. All right. So here we have Faith. Faith has been my assistant literally since the day she was born. She would come up on the podium and do announcements with me. I'd sit her on the podium and she would do the announcements with me. And then later on, she would hand out affirmation cards and all of that. And now she's 17 and my official assistant and also our soloist. So we are so blessed to have Faith on our team. So thank you so much for being here, darling.
Thank you.
And then we have the wise and powerful Oz.
Oz.
He's my partner in crime. He has been since like 1998 when I first met him. He took all of his training with me and became my first baby practitioner, my licensed practitioner, my first one, and was board president of my church for a very long time, and then moved to Florida. Now he's in Wisconsin at the moment. He goes to Wisconsin for the winter, or for the summer. Sorry.
For the summer.
For the summer, yeah. Anyway, he's our practitioner of the day. He's available. He's going to be doing praying us in and praying us out, and he's available at the end for our 1-minute miracle. So thank you, Oz, for being here as well. All right. And so if you're here, please say hi, good morning, hello, whichever way you want to greet us. When I'm in a facility, I can look out and see who's here, and it's always a lot nice just for me to see who's here. With this software, I do not have that capability, so I appreciate it if you would say hello, good morning, or hi. And Faith will be answering you behind the scenes. I am not very good at multitasking when it comes to speaking. I can multitask just about everything else, but I get very distracted when I'm speaking and I'm trying to do other things. So Faith does that, and she knows me as well as I know myself. So I always go back later and see if there's anything I need to add, but she's right on most of the time. The topic today, because it's 4th of July and we talk so much about independence, the topic today is interdependence, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a bit. Also, if you'd like to do a watch party, it's a great way for people to know what kind of things we talk about here. And you can talk back and forth with them and not disturb anybody. So it's kind of a blessing to have that little watch party button. I know Oz does a watch party every week, so he invites his friends to join us. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
The presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see God is in this place.
The presence of God right here, right now. For God is all there is, all there ever will be, all there ever can be. All time, all space, all power, all thought, encompassed in that one great being that we call God. All that is, creating every moment, spinning the planets, breathing each person, living in us as us. We are God's hands. We are God's eyes. It is all one. And being one in that, I know that we share in the blessing of the service today, and that it is uplifting and inspiring. The words touch lives and touch hearts. And it is all just a matter of God, communing with God, being one in and one with one another and in this greater being of God. For being part of that, I give great thanks for this blessing, and I let it be so, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. All right. So this next song, We Are All One, is from Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver. We do her song every week because it is what we believe. We are all one. And so I'm going to do that in just a minute. Again, if you're here, please say hi, hello, good morning, however you'd like to greet us. And Faith will definitely answer you. But if you know the words to this song, please sing along, sing it loud, and sing it proud, because you can't bother anybody, right?
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I receive, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it.
We are all one in it. So say hi, good morning, hello, however you would like. Somebody's chatting at me. Yes, I did send you a song. I texted you and I emailed you. Faith doesn't know about a song. That's not good. That is not good. Okay, well, let's see. It was I'm Proud to Be an American. What is the name of that song? God Bless America? No. Yeah, let me, I'm sorry. I don't mean to Faith is saying she didn't get the song. Let me see when I texted. I should have just verified it. God Bless the USA. And I said I was trying to find Interdependence by Mighty Sparrow on karaoke, but I couldn't find it. So don't worry about that one. Did you not get that text? Huh. And then the emails, there were 2 emails. One was the karaoke version and one was the regular version. Interesting. Well, I'm going to just keep talking and see what you can do here. She hasn't rehearsed it, so it ought to be interesting. All right. Yeah, I sent that to you Monday or Tuesday. Let's see. If you're here, say hi, hello, good morning, however you would like to greet us, and Faith will definitely answer you. If you like something that happens during the service, whether that's something that Faith sings or something that I say, we love that thumbs up, but we also love to get love. So if you really love something I say, please use your heart button. And then if it's something I say really strikes you as really powerful, there's the wow button. And I love getting wow because it tells me that I'm on target, that I'm doing something that is actually going to help somebody. And so be sure to give us that feedback. We always appreciate that feedback. Let me check in with Faith and see where we're at here. No? Okay, I'll just jump right in. And at some point, if you want to practice that, maybe we can sing it at the end, maybe. All right. So let me just jump right in with interdependence. There's three modes of being in the world. There's independence, which we celebrate on the 4th of July. We celebrate our independence from the British government and the monarchy, who was actually like, you know, a bureau or an autocrat more than a monarchy. I mean, like they really, oh, they go to a different folder. That's why. Oh, did I send it from wellness? I'm sorry. No wonder. Ugh. Okay, so sorry about that. And so what we celebrate on Independence Day is getting out from underneath the thumb of the monarchy of the British government. And you know, we love to celebrate. We Americans just love to celebrate. So we've turned that into a whole freedom thing. That our freedom from the British government has translated into so many other things. And then dependence and codependence is another mode of being in the world. And, you know, codependence, a lot of times we think of codependence with somebody drinking alcohol or doing drugs or something like that, and us helping them stay addicted or something like that. We do depend on each other. We do. Our country was based on our dependence on each other. But codependence takes it a step further. Codependence makes it so that we are facilitating someone else not being healthy, and we don't want that. And then you have interdependence, and that's what I really want to focus on today, because interdependence is, I think, what was originally intended when they were talking about the dependence and independence. When our country was formed. I think what they meant by what they were saying was not dependence, but interdependence. But it kind of, you know, back in those days, they didn't really talk too much about the various modes of being. So the Declaration of Independence, the very last line is, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. You see where I have that interdependence in there? And independence is about being separated. And we don't need anybody to function. We don't need anyone else. You know, in religious science, we talk about how connected we are. We don't talk about being separate because we don't believe we are separate. We do rely on God, and we do rely on each other. And because we rely on each other, it is necessary for us to contribute to the common good, so to speak. You know, I don't know which side of the mask issue, vaccination issue, Black Lives Matter issue, women's rights issue, Pacific Islander Asian community issue, any of those issues, I don't know where you come in on, and it doesn't matter. What is really important to note is that the interdependence that we have with each other is what keeps us alive. So when we're talking about masks, for example, yeah, one little piece of fabric is not going to keep you from getting sick from my germs. But if you have a mask and I have a mask, then we keep our germs to ourselves. As far as vaccinations go, until everybody's vaccinated, all the people who get sick, the virus mutates in their body, and we get a different strain. That's what's going on with this Delta virus now, that the Delta variant that came from India, is that people who have gotten COVID are now getting that. And so we don't know what the next mutation is. So the more people that get vaccinated, the better. But that's my little soapbox. With Black Lives Matter, or Asian rights or women's rights, what I want to say about that is, we celebrate freedom on the 4th of July. But what's really true is I'm not free as long as you're not free. So as long as we have police officers killing Black men, as long as we have people attacking Asian Pacific Islanders, as long as women do not have the same rights as men do, then we are not free. We're only free if we don't declare our own freedom at the expense of someone else's freedom. I had this conversation one time with a friend of mine, and it was really interesting because we were talking about masks and why we would need to wear a mask and whatever. And so I said to her, when does my right not to wear a mask infringe on your right to stay alive? And she said, that is the question, isn't it? We didn't discuss it any further than that because I knew we were on opposite sides of the issue. She wears a mask when she's around me. I wear a mask. She wears a mask. But, and once you're fully vaccinated, there's no need for a mask. But in this day and age, people are falsifying documentation on vaccine records and that kind of thing. And so there's really no way to tell who's really vaccinated. And until you are fully vaccinated, you are subject to getting something from them. So anyway, that's just my thing about freedom, is that freedom is only freedom if everybody enjoys it at the same time. There's no such thing as my freedom versus your freedom. That means no freedom for either one of us. And that's what I really want to focus on, is that interdependence that we have that creates the freedom to be. There's a song by Mighty Sparrow, Interdependence. Unfortunately, I can't get anybody to sing it because it's got a lot of words and it's really fast and there's no karaoke for it. But what he says is there really independence? And he goes through this whole sequence of showing where there's no independence, really, that there's only interdependence, that we rely on each other. Just like that song, I don't like to do love songs at church, like, love with someone else or in love with someone else. I don't like to do those kind of songs in church because I don't think it's appropriate. But if I did, there's one song that I just adore. It's from Dolly Parton, Islands in the Stream, where she says, we rely on each other. That there's no such thing as an island where someone else lives, that they're disconnected from everything. Such a great song, because truly that's what it is. I mean, if we were all on individual islands, we wouldn't survive. We need people. People need people. This nation, like I said, was founded on dependence. And in a codependent society, we have to have someone to look down on in order to feel better about ourselves, or we compare ourselves to others and we either come out short or we come out on top. Religious science, we don't really talk about codependence because we don't believe in separation. And we don't believe in facilitating someone to stay unhealthy. We believe in creating a better world so that everyone prospers and everyone is healthy and everyone feels loved. I know that's a huge goal to strive toward, but that's really what we believe. That we are connected through God, by God, as God, heart to heart, mind to mind, soul to soul, spirit to spirit. Absolutely connected. And my version of that is watermarks on a page. I always like to give that as an example. That we give outline and form to the experience by just being. We are watermarks on a page. That page flows through us. And everybody is a watermark. So when you really look at it, God flows through every one of those watermarks and touches itself through each of us. And so as watermarks on a page, since we're giving some form to God, we really need to remember that God flows through all of us, through all things, all places, all people, all animals, all life, that God flows through everything, and our interdependence with it is what keeps us alive. I used to know this woman like 20 years ago that believed in this Nordic mythology about hunters and weavers and threads, that the world is a big tapestry weaving a pattern, and that the hunters are there to protect the weave from being destroyed. The weavers are there to be weaving it all the time. It's not like it's static. It is an ever-evolving weave, an ever-evolving pattern. And so there's hunters and weavers, and then there's the rest of us who are threads. And as they're weaving this tapestry, if you fold it back on itself, you can see very clearly that everything is connected. That the pattern that is revealed reveals that interconnectedness with what's underneath. Now, we used to do something in our church with our new members that was a fun exercise to do, but it also was very instructive. We would take a ball of yarn, we'd stand in a circle, we would take a ball of yarn and we would throw it to someone and hold the thread. And then they would grab a thread and throw it to someone else, and it would go around the circle, and pretty soon we would have like a spider web in the middle of us. And then we would say to somebody, hey, why don't you yank your string and see what happens? Well, they would yank their string, and everyone in the circle would feel that yank. And it was instructive. It was a fun exercise to do to kind of create a bond, but it was instructive because what it showed was how much what we do and what we think, say, and do affects other people, especially in the church, but also in the world. I mean, really, there is no such thing as the United States being separate from other countries. We have to work in cooperation with these other countries on things. We have to. We have to learn how to work with our neighbors when we live in a neighborhood. We have to be willing to do some things that might be considered sacrifice, just so that everyone prospers. And when you think about it, how interconnected life is, think about how plants do, feed us and we feed them. Plants require carbon dioxide to live. And they put off oxygen. So luckily we take in oxygen and we create carbon dioxide so the plants can live. And no plant could ever survive without human intervention. Just like people can't survive without the plant life around them. Well, they can now because we have oxygen machines, but technically we need that oxygen created by those plants in order to survive. And not everybody wants to be on oxygen the rest of their life just so they can live, right? So when we think about how connected all of that is, even in the products that we eat, the products that we buy and eat, it's the same thing. Oh, good. She thinks she can do it. Awesome. Thank you, Faith. God bless you. She is Johnny on the spot, man. Whenever I need something, she's there. I love Faith. I love everybody, but I really love Faith. So when you think about the interconnectedness of all of this, we have to have a seed that came from a tree or something, a plant of some sort. We have to have a seed. Then we have to have someone who plants that seed. Then that person or someone else has to water and fertilize that seed so that it grows into a plant. And then at some point, somebody has to harvest it. And then somebody has to ship that to manufacturers, whether that by truck or ship in the ocean or whatever. And then the plant manufactures bread or pasta or cereal or whatever it is that they make out of this. They grind it and then they make it into these products that they send to the stores. And you have truck drivers who are driving it to the stores. And then it gets to the stores and we buy it and we consume it and we utilize it. And then we send out carbon dioxide as part of the metabolism process, right? So all of that speaks to the interconnectedness of all life. Without the tree, we wouldn't have the seed. Without the seed, we wouldn't have the product in the store for us to buy and utilize to create carbon dioxide for the plant. Does that make sense? You see? And everything is interconnected in that same way. There is nothing in this world that is separate from that process. I have this poem by Rumi that I always like to read. It really speaks to all of this very well. It's of being woven. And if you're not familiar with Rumi, he has the most beautiful love poems. And there's so many quotes that are just awesome. But he says, the way is full of genuine sacrifice. the thickets blocking your path, or anything that keeps you from that, any fear that you may be broken into bits like a glass bottle. This road demands courage and stamina, yet it's full of footprints. Who are these companions? They are rungs in your ladder. Use them. With company, you quicken your ascent. You may be happy enough going along, but with others, you'll get farther and faster. Someone who goes cheerfully by himself to the customs house to pay his traveler's tax will go even more lightheartedly when friends are with him. Every prophet sought out companions. A wall standing alone is useless, but put 3 or 4 walls together and they'll support a roof and keep the grain dry and safe. When ink joins with a pen, then the blank paper can say something. Rushes and reeds must be woven to be useful as a mat. If they weren't interlaced, the wind would blow them away. Like that, God paired up creatures and gave them friendship. I have been slightly obsessed with this poem since one of my teachers shared it with me recently. So I want you to really think about what he's saying in terms of how we are connected by how all of life is connected. It's not just we that are connected. Certainly, you know, when you think about the way ink joins with a pen to create something, or, you know, without the pen can't do it without the ink can't do it without the pen. I love that idea of a wall standing by itself is useless, but you put 3 or 4 walls together and you can support a roof. And then that keeps the grain dry and safe so that we have grain so that we can have products. You see what I'm saying? Like, I love that he takes all of what I'm saying right now and interlaces it with his own kind of twist that he puts on it. But anytime we think or do something, it affects the whole. Now, I'm not to blame. If someone else is suffering, I'm not to blame for that suffering. If it's in my awareness, I own a part of it. Yes. So I notice that when something comes into my awareness, that it's something that I need to take some responsibility for. Blame doesn't do anything but hurt you. So we don't blame ourselves or anybody else. We take responsibility for that which is in our awareness. If it's in my awareness, it's mine to do something with. Now, I can't go around the world and make sure that everybody gets vaccinated, or I can't go to India and save all those 20,000 people a day that are dropping from the Delta. I can't save, I can't go over to Afghanistan and save the Afghani people. I can't do any of that. What I can do is I can clear my consciousness about everything, all the hatred, all the poisonous negativity that is in my consciousness. I talk about a sea of receptivity. Well, actually, Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, talked about a sea of receptivity. I talk about it in kind of an extended version of what he said. In saying that, when I'm working on my consciousness, see, the sea of receptivity takes in everything that everybody thinks. It's like a subjective mind. Like, remember when I was talking about the subjective mind, how it records everything that happens? It's like that for the entire human race. And it collects all of that information. So every time I have a thought, it contributes to that sea of receptivity. And if there's a lot of negativity in that sea of receptivity, then that's what's available for people to take out of there. Not that they want to, but they may need something. They go into the sea of receptivity and they receive this negativity instead of positivity. So I feel like it's my job on this earth, and you can decide whether it is your job or not, but I feel like it's my job on this earth to clear my consciousness of all negativity so that all that I'm putting into that sea of receptivity is positive, affirmative, healing thoughts, so that that's what's available for someone who reaches into that sea of receptivity to get what they need. Now, I'm not 100%, trust me. I work towards that 100% every day of my life. I have places where I fall down and I feel awful, and I'm stuck in my pity party like everybody else. I will tell you that my pity parties don't last as long as most people, because I keep reminding myself, and I have others who remind me, that I need to stay positive. That what I'm contributing to that sea of receptivity may not be the best for everyone else. And then I snap back into it and go, okay, yeah, I remember. I need to focus on the positive here. Not in a Pollyanna way. Actually, I don't know if I can find it real quick. Someone posted something on Facebook that I saved about that. I'll have to do that some other time. But it's about the difference between blame and and responsibility and accountability. I'm accountable for that which I think into the universe. And it's not a Pollyanna thing. The Pollyanna thing is I ignore all of the evidence and I just focus on this over here. No, we acknowledge our pain. We acknowledge what's going on within us, but we clear it as quickly as possible. We say to ourselves, yes, this may be a fact, but it's not truth. Truth is God. Underlying that fact is more powerful than this situation. See, in religious science, we don't believe that there is a power that is equal to God or more powerful than God. I love some of these fundamentalist preachers now are starting to teach our stuff, which is kind of cool in a lot of ways, but they kind of distort it a little bit with the devil. Like Joel Ornstein, I can never remember. I can never say his name correctly. Joel Ornstein. I'm right there with him almost all the way through until he starts mentioning that the devil has power over you. And then I check out because I don't believe that. I don't believe the devil has any power. Not here on this earth, not anywhere. Because if I were to admit that the devil had power, I would have to admit that God was not all powerful. And I believe that God is all powerful. So I can't say that the devil has any power anywhere. Whether there is a devil or not, I don't know. But what I do know is it can't be as powerful as God, or it can't be more powerful than God. And so when I listen to the fundamentalist preachers talk about that, I think, it is a whole other thing to teach what we teach and say God is all powerful. And it's another thing to say, well, the devil has power over you unless you do such and such. So I have a hard time with that. I used to listen to the Crystal Cathedral. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember the Crystal Cathedral. It was a TV show, Robert Schuller, not the son. The son's not very good. The father was awesome, and they were Dutch Reform Congregationalists. I don't really agree with much that politicians say, let alone Republican politicians, and for those of you who don't know, I'm an Indian independent. I voted for Republicans and I voted for Democrats. I'm truly an independent. But I have a hard time with some of the rhetoric. And the only thing that I can think of that I agree with George Bush, for example, the father, not the son. Again, but the father, George Bush Sr., said that he believed in 1,000 points of light. And he probably didn't mean it the way I mean it. Sort of, probably, but not really the way I mean it. When he talked about 1,000 points of light, he was talking about how we reach each other, that the awareness level comes up with 1,000 points of light because those 1,000 touch other thousands which touch other thousands. And so there's an awareness that grows. Robert Schuller used to talk about it as Christ consciousness, that when the second coming of Christ was going to be seen was when 1,000 points of light were activated and everyone starts believing in positive thinking and believes in the power and presence of God. And that's what I believe. And so Robert Schuller was a very inspirational speaker for me because I believe that too. I think the second coming of Christ is not about a person. I think it's about a coming of consciousness. And that coming of consciousness is 1,000 points of awareness of, people, and they touch 1,000 lives with their positivity. And then those 1,000 touch another 1,000. And before you know it, there is an overwhelming awareness in the world of God's power and presence. And that, I think, is what the second coming of Christ is all about. And I think that's what the 1,000 points of light are about. So Webster defines dependence as depending on one or more things on each other. And when we first arrived on this continent, Native Americans had a philosophy of interdependence of all life. Their saying for that is Mitakuyeas, and all my brethren, we are all related. And that included animals and people and everything else. And because we were going through our independence phase, we just didn't get the message. And I think now people are starting to get the message. I think that more and more happens now to show us where we are interdependent. I think that may have been the point of this COVID-19. No matter what you believe about where it came from, or how it needs to be handled, or whether or not you should get a vaccination, no matter how you believe any of that stuff, you have to admit that this COVID-19 virus, this pandemic, has altered permanently our world. And I think a lot of things that have happened as a result of that is our feeling so isolated because we were in quarantine, and then, not being able to smile at people anymore, not being able to hug anyone. Like, I finally hugged my sister for the first time in like a year and a half. I can't tell you how powerful that one moment was to me. And so what I think all of that has taught us is how without others, we are lonely and isolated, and there is no freedom, right? And that we rely on everyone else to be a part of our community, whether that be a neighborhood or a church or any other organization for that matter, or a family unit. How much we rely on the ability to reach out and touch people, the ability to be in the presence of people we love, people we admire, respect, however you want to say it. To be in their presence and be able to enjoy their presence. So for me, COVID-19, the lesson in COVID-19 has been about that interconnectedness, that interdependence, that we realize that we are dependent on each other in not a codependent way, but in an interconnected way. That as we move through life, get our vaccinations, whatever, when we have the freedom to be able to gather with family again and not think about the virus, when we have that freedom and everyone else has that freedom, then life doesn't just return back to normal. Life becomes a brand new thing. It becomes a brand new reality. And that reality for some of us, probably for most of us, maybe everyone, is about recognizing how important people are in our lives. Because we can't do it without each other. We can't exist without other people. We can't exist without plant life. We can't exist without awareness. We can't exist without that interconnectedness, that interdependence. And so this week, what I'd like you to recognize is how 4th of July is freedom from that idea that we are separate, freedom from that idea that we are codependent, freedom from that idea that we alone have freedom when other people don't. Can you do that with me this week? Can you focus on how important it is for all to be free, not just me? Let's have a prayer. I just move my awareness right now to that infinite power, that infinite presence of God, to that place within me that knows beyond human understanding just how powerful God is. One power, one life, one love, one being. And all are connected to it, by it, through it. So that is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very life, my very being, my very essence. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that one infinite power and presence of God, that one wisdom of the ages, that is God thinking its way through my consciousness. And I know that same truth to be so for this team that God lets me manage, that has given me to manage. For Lynn and for Faith and for Tina and for Oz. For we are one in that infinite power, infinite presence of God. And every action, every thought, every deed is guided by that ancient wisdom of the ages, that is God thinking its way through our consciousness. For we, here on this earth, in our human doingness, perform the human actions that need to be performed by us so that God's message comes through very clearly. We remain those open vessels through which that truth is communicated in all of the things that we think, say, and do. And one of those is how connected we are. So I do know that anyone who is watching this, whether in real time or later on, is also connected by it, through it, as it. For there is no place where one leaves off and the other begins. There is only God, one power, one presence, one love, one being. Mitakuye Asen, we are all one. So I bless this coming week with an awareness of how we fit into the weave of life. Our purpose, our necessary component that we bring to the weave, to that tapestry of life that is being woven every moment of every day. And as we focus our attention on that, anything unlike that just slips away. And so we clear our consciousness to contain only those thoughts of love and power and life and beingness. And how the God presence in this world is more powerful than any condition anyone may be experiencing. So right now I pull back the veil and reveal the truth underlying any condition that anyone is experiencing today or this week. I declare the truth of God as the power in this situation. And I claim it for them in their name as good and very good. Whew, my goodness. Faith is busy working on the song, I think. She forgot to get the meditation off.
I swapped it and you never unmuted, so we didn't hear like the last little bit.
Oh, no, really? Oh, darn. Wow. Okay. And so it is. I claim it and name it in everyone's name. I don't know what part of it. When did it cut off?
After 4 minutes, I don't know. I know that there's 4 minutes of music in every slide, so after 4 minutes.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, I'm going to start that part again because my consciousness is already in the prayer. So I do want to say that this coming week is blessed with an awareness of the interconnectedness that we have, that we are powerfully and beautifully expressing that awareness in everything that we think, say, and do, and that any condition that anyone is experiencing here and now, I now know for them that spiritual truth, that God's power is more powerful than whatever that condition is. And I pull it forth, pulling back the veil and revealing the truth here and now. I call it good in their name and very good. I claim it for them here and now as done. And so I give thanks that it is so, and I just let it be. And so it is. Amen. That should cover it, I hope. Somebody made a comment. Let's see what happened here. Ah, yes. Thank you, Joy. Joy says she claims it. Yes, perfect. All right. Excuse me. All that crying does messes with my sinuses here. I was doing so good, too. All right. Now is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express your gratitude for that which you have seen in your experience, your physical experience already, and that which you may have created, manifested in your mind already, but maybe you haven't seen just yet. And so the giving thanks of that is by way of our offering affirmation. So go to what's on the screen there, www.oasiscsl.org. It's also in the comments. About 2/3 of the way down the page is going to be the offering affirmation with a Contribute Now button at the bottom. And let me talk a little bit about, it used to say donate now. And what's important about that is I think of donations as like when I put together a bag of clothes and take it to the donation center, or perhaps when I donate to a political organization one time or something like that. What you're contributing to is the message of God getting out, this message, that this empowering, inspirational message that we do every Sunday, that God does through me every Sunday, getting that out into the world. So that's what you're contributing to. So whether you're watching this in real time or later on, please go to oasiscsl.org. About 2/3 of the way down the page is our offering affirmation, and I invite you to say that along with us right now. This perfect gift is spirit and form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive, and so it is. And here's faith.
Getting Shiloh's food was never this easy. Mom's workout.
You guys know how YouTube is. It's got ads.
I
Sorry.
didn't get to design my own room, and now Dad thinks he's a big, fancy chef.
Alright, we should be good now. If tomorrow all the things were gone that I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag that stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the sea, from sea to shining sea, and the plains. Wow, I really messed up. I'm sorry. From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, Well, there's pride in every American heart. It's time that we say. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the land who died and gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you, defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Thank you.
Not bad for what we call a cold read.
Yep.
Beautiful job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we have announcements now. Hang on a second. Okay. First is Brooks and Bailey. This is the bracelet that she sent me. I don't know if you can see this clasp. There we go. It has a little hoop that you stick the bar through, and it stays on my wrist better than any of the bracelets I've ever had. So I'm pretty happy with this one. Here is her information. All the proceeds benefit Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue. You can reach her through Brooks and Bailey 0307@gmail.com and order. She has malas, she has bracelets, she has all kinds of good stuff. And then we also have the Mystic Brew, which I'm going to let Faith talk about. I know she doesn't have a voice, but I'm going to make her talk about it anyway.
Yeah, guys, sorry, I am definitely losing my voice. But the Mystic Brew is a metaphysical shop right now. We have intention jars and bath salts. We are working on getting some starter packs so that you can build your own intention jars and use it for your meditation or any spiritual practice that you may do. So check out our website at www.themysticbrew.com, as well as go follow us on all of our social media.
Awesome. This is one of her intention jars that she did for me. It's prosperity or abundance. I'm not sure. But I tend to think about this every time I'm doing a prayer on abundance or something. I think about this little jar. That jar is $15. So the pricing is pretty good. I want to acknowledge two of our musicians that provide us with music. First is Reverend Fairy Lane Silver. Please go to her website. You will need to contact her by email to find out how to pay for the songs that you buy or the CDs that you buy. I think hers is just by the CD, but she travels all around the country. I just got a new list of everywhere she's going to be, and she's going to be a lot of places. And so you need to get a hold of her to find out how to get payment to her. She can't change her website. I don't know why. She's unable to edit her website. Otherwise, she could do like Venmo or Cash App or something like that, and then the money would follow her wherever she goes. But she can't change her website for some reason. So you'll have to contact her by email. The other one is Karen Drucker, and Karen Drucker's website does work, and you can use a debit card or whatever to purchase her stuff. She sells it by the song, by the CD, by the song book, and some of them even have American Sign Language in them, so it's kind of cool. But check out her website, buy something from her. We like to support those that support us, and she has gifted us with her entire collection of 20 CDs worth of songs to use on Sundays. So we really appreciate her and please support her. Check out our website at www.oasiscsl.org. You can see our previous sermons, our current sermons, well, current from a year. Let's see, we've been doing this a year and almost a half. Those are on video, on the video tab. Anything before that is on the audio tab. The videos are also available on YouTube. under S. Tucker. And the, oops, Duchess, leave Buddy alone. I'm afraid she's going to get bit one of these days. She's chasing Buddy down the hallway. He got off his perch. They seem to have this little love affair so far, but I'm just like one of these days. Oh, gosh. Anyway. And our audio, the older audio sermons are available on SoundCloud under S. Tucker as well. So, you know, go there if you'd like. Go to our website. Also, check out our practitioners. We have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners that serve as our ministry of prayer, our God Squad. That's what we call them, the God Squad. They also will pray on your requests every day for a week. So if you would like a prayer request for this week, please put it in the comments section. If you want it to be more private, you can message one of us, and Faith will make sure that it gets on our closed Facebook group page that's closed to only our God Squad. And if you would like to participate in the God Squad, you don't necessarily have to be a licensed practitioner. It helps, but if you are committed to doing affirmative prayer every day for a week for those prayer requests and follow through on that and keep those requests confidential, you can serve also. So in the comment section, type yes, and Faith will add you to our God Squad team. Now, Oz is available today for what we call our 1 minute miracle. It's not a time for counseling, but it is a time where you can share whatever situation, condition you are experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray right then and there for it with you. He will do that through video chat, so you can reach out to him after the service through video chat. If he doesn't answer right away, it means he's on the phone with someone else, so wait a few minutes and then try back. Also know that our licensed practitioners are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance. So check out their information on our webpage, and you can reach out to them, message them, and they'll arrange with you a time for your appointment and a method of payment. And then they will reach out to you at your appointed time by video chat also. So I think that's it for this. Yep, I think so. Okay, so let's go to our closing song. Again, sing it loud, sing it proud. This is a great meme to get stuck in your head. Trust me.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so
And I know that the blessings of God flow through all of life and all of being. And I know that this is so for you and for me and for all that is. For all that is one consistent and huge and wonderful blessing. And this blessing spreads through our lives, through the week, through all space and time. For being part of that, I give great thanks and I let it be so. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing on Sunday, especially on 4th of July. We're glad you were here with us. Enjoy your family and friends today. Light your fireworks or whatever it is you're going to do. Do your barbecues, whatever that is. Have a really great time. But remember, interconnection is the way. Diversity is power. All right. We love you. Join us next week at 10:30, every week at 10:30 Mountain Time. We'd love to see you there. Thank you. Bye.